ToneX exploded onto the scene 3 years ago and was hyped to change the game by bringing amp capturing to the masses. The problem for me was that once the initial hype wave had passed, the limitations of the ToneX technology became pretty clear. There was long training times, some clunky workflows, inconsistent results, and more often than not, the high gain tones came out sounding like a wet blanket. Something sounds a little bit strange there. I'm not too sure if it's my setup. Now, when ToneX launched, I was hyped. It was IK's big push into Kemper territory with either their affordable hardware or you could use your own if you already had it. There was no more needing to buy a $1,500 unit to do this kind of thing anymore. But man, using it was rough. Training a single capture could take over an hour on my machine here. There was no batch capturing, so you had to sit there one by one, let it sort of hog the computer for an hour, and then you hope that the result is good. And then you just rinse and repeat. And realistically, 4 or 5 captures could end up taking 5 to 6 hours of time while you manage all the start and stops and wait for the capture and training process. Kind of crazy. And if you're trying to get tight, high gain tones, which is literally my world here, it was very hit or miss with the results. Generally a miss. Now at the same time we had NAM, which is neural amp modeler, sort of kicking around on the side, and that could batch train in the cloud. So you just fire off a bunch of reamps into the amp, export like 20 files, upload them onto the Tone 3000 website, and then you're pretty much done. You go back to whatever you're doing and check it back in like an hour, and they'd all be ready for you to download and start messing around with. It was faster, simpler, and the results were just way more consistent. Over the years, I've battled with ToneX trying to capture things a bunch of times, and I can honestly say I've wasted like 40, 50, 60 plus hours over weeks of time trying to sort of crack that ToneX high gain code to get the best fidelity possible. And in the end, I just had to ditch it. To me, it just like wasn't a reliable solution. In my opinion, it just wasn't up to the task for high gain tones. And honestly, after 3 years with no meaningful updates, I kind of wasn't sure if it ever would be better. And fast forward to now, ToneX V2 just dropped, and I was skeptical to even try it, because after years of trying and giving up on it, I just assumed it was going to be the same old, but my curiosity got the better of me. I installed ToneX and did some captures, and straight away I could tell something was different, that actually fixed the biggest pain points. The training time had been slashed, batch capturing was finally here, and the high gain tones were finally coming out how you'd expect. I was actually doing some A/B capture testing while practicing guitar for like an hour, and I'd forgotten I was even testing captures because I was just so focused on whatever riffs I was learning. When I stopped playing, I took a look at what I was using and it was actually ToneX. That's something that hasn't happened in years at that point. So let's put this ToneX V2 redemption to the test. I've got an amp here, which is the EVH iconic EL3415 watt. So we'll have a look at the real amp versus NAM versus ToneX V2. Same settings, same everything. Let's check out some riffs. Let me know in the comments what you thought about all those sounds. To me, they definitely sound like the gap is closed with all those technologies. Now, in terms of the highest fidelity possible, NAM is still my first pick. It still feels closer to the real amp sound in terms of sound and response. But man, ToneX V2 has closed a huge gap that was there before. It's gone from being not good to this is almost on par with NAM In most cases, the captures are splitting hairs on the differences between NAMM and ToneX V2. And for me, that is not a small update. That's massive. That's redemption. You might be wondering, if I'm still going to use NAMM in the studio here, then why does any of this matter? Well, the ToneX pedals cost between $199 and $429 at the moment. So getting those ToneX tones this close to NAMM means that players can run pro level tones on affordable gear. When it comes to pedals, NAMM's main pedals options are the dime head player, which is around $620 US, and then you've got the dark glass anagram, which is about $1,200 US. So while NAMM is great in the studio and you can run dozens of instances of these captures on your computer, when it comes to a pedal board, it's a hefty price tag to get those going. Now, in the spirit of all this, to help you hear it out for yourself, I've made a free ToneX V2 capture pack, and it's available on NAMM as well as ToneX, completely free. Links are in the description. If you're a legend and you're subscribed to the channel and you saw my last video, I did a review of that EDH iconic EL34 15-watt amp. I've done 15 captures per channel. That's channel 1 overdrive, channel 2, and channel 2 with burn. I didn't bother with the cleans because you're not here for those clean tones. So to wrap it all up for me, NAMM is still the reference point. That last little bit of realism and fidelity keeps it on top as far as technology goes. But ToneX V2 has completely changed the conversation with their latest update. It's finally fun to play. The captures are coming out reliably, and we also have the ability to run back-to-back captures with batch training. And also the training types have massively improved. And that's the kind of thing that deserves some credit. So yeah, ToneX V2 has definitely earned this redemption arc. Huge props to the team at IK for actually listening and improving things, even if it did take 3 years. So yeah, if you gave up on ToneX like I did, maybe give V2 a shot. You might be surprised as I was. Now don't forget to grab those free captures below, hit subscribe, and as always, if you stuck around to the end of the video, you're a legend, and I'll catch you on the next one.